All right, if we're up, then we'll get it started. So hi, everybody, and welcome to the Drury Lady Panthers reunion. I'm Ed Beach. I handle the media relations and broadcast duties for Drury Athletics, and we're really excited about tonight as we celebrate what is the 20th anniversary of Drury Lady Panthers basketball, a program that now for 20 years has been literally the most successful women's basketball program in NCAA Division II. The best winning percentage of all the 316 participants at the Division II level. As we get started, want to at least acknowledge a few people that are with us, or at least will be joining on a little bit later on. That includes our Vice President and Director of Athletics, Corey Bray. Wanted to at least say hello to him, as he'll be a big part of this, as well as current Drury Lady Panthers head coach Amy Egan, who just moments ago got, or at least a few days ago, just got her 200th career victory, but now in her first season with Drury University. And a lot of former players with us, and let's see if I can kind of get to a lot of them that are on and with us, if they can kind of give us a little bit of an update of where they are now before we get to Coach Millicent. But want to try to go kind of around the horn with those that are on with us at the moment. We're looking for former assistant coach Trish Marsh, who is looking to be with us today. Also, Katrina Polnick, first graduate assistant in program history. Allison Cody had also chimed in, looking that she would be with us for tonight, along with several others. And I think we're going to maybe bring in those kind of as we go along. Looking also for my broadcast counterpart, the first voice of the Drury Lady Panthers, Rob Evans, who was looking to also hop in and join us on the call. He just got back to his house a little while ago, so he will hop in a few moments as soon as he can. So as he gets situated and gets logged in and we can see him, he'll hop on the call and be a part of this. As again, definitely looking forward to what should be a fun night as we look back at 20 years and the origins of Drury Lady Panthers basketball. But as we go through that, let's turn it over to kind of the almost, you could kind of say, the founder of Drury Lady Panthers basketball. Certainly it was 20 seasons ago, turning it over to our first head coach, Nyla Millicent.
20 years. Don't we all look great for 20 years ago? Oh my gosh, how fun it is to see your smiling faces. And you too, big guy. It's been a day or two. All
Coach,
right,
as we wait for everybody to get back online, let's if you could take us back to the very beginning, the interview process, the origins of this program. I mean, you came on board a little more than a year before the team would play its first game. So if you could talk a little bit about how the program started, everything from moving into your first office in Weiser Gym to the lead up to game one. What was that like?
Just crazy. And as Paige sent me this a couple weeks ago, the memory started flooding back. And I promise y'all, I won't roll you under the bus if you don't roll me under the bus. But lots of fun times. I remember very, very vividly when it was announced that Drury was going to start a women's basketball program, and really didn't give much thought to it. But I had a number of people call and say, gosh, why don't you look at that? And I was good where I was at. Then I started kind of digging into what Drury was really all about, and the academics and the history of the men's program. And I thought, this might be something. So I remember, so like it was yesterday, Dr. Harger, God rest his soul. He to this day would be so proud of what we've accomplished. But calling me during the school day at Glendale, and I was teaching, and I stepped out in the hallway, and had a conversation with him and expressed my interest. The interview process, I wore a bright white shirt, and Barb Coward took me over to Pasta Express to eat. And I think I, like an idiot, ordered spaghetti and hoped I didn't drip it down my shirt. Meeting with Dan Cashel in the back of the library. It was just a good day. And I felt right from the very beginning it was going to be home. So I took the job, and one of the first weeks I took it, I remember on Sports Talk, somebody called into Art and said, God, can you believe how stupid Drury is? They hired a coach and then they're giving her a year's vacation. Little did they know that it wasn't a year of vacation, but it was a fun year planning, and not very many people to this day get to do what I got to do. And first of all, I didn't have to move, so I just moved about 3 miles across town. I didn't have to move houses. I didn't have to do any of that. Just had to change one color in my wardrobe a little bit. But then I got to start from scratch. And I can tell you, I've taken some good programs over and I've taken some bad programs over. And I get asked a lot, would you rather take over a good program, take over a bad program, or start your own? And I can tell you, I'd rather start my own. So I got to do it my way. I had lots and lots of help along the way. But I had never been to a Division II basketball game. So I wasn't sure exactly what it was going to take to compete. But I did know at that time that women's basketball, girls basketball in Southwest Missouri was really, 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 really good. You know, from Glendale to Nixa to Republic to Kickapoo, right down the line to Skyline, right down the line. I knew there was good athletes. I knew there was great basketball players, but more importantly, I knew that there was great people. I go down the list of that very first year. I had every single one of those players that we recruited. I had either coached against, played against, or whatever. So I knew the type of people that we were getting. I also knew that if we built it, they would come, and they did. They came in groves to watch us play. I'm not going to lie. Did I think we were going to be as successful as we were from day one? Maybe not, but you put good people around you. I had a great staff, Barb Coward, Dr. Harger. I'm not going to say gave me a totally blank checkbook, but they let me write lots of checks. You know, we were able to recruit the right type of student athletes, and a lot of that was because of Drury. It was because of the academics, the education that these young women were going to get. So I just started on the phone. I think Sarah Stratton was our first commit. I got on the phone to a couple of potential transfers, a couple of them that had kicked my butt in the past. Allison Cody was a big piece that year. One of the best athletes to ever come out of Springfield, and she happened to finish in her career at Clemson playing volleyball. And I'll just use these. Stacy was at junior college. Callie was at Central Missouri. Carrie was at Wofford. So there were some kids out there. I went to my Glendale ties. I guess Katie was at Missouri State at the time. You know, went to the high school ranks, plucked a couple of Nixa kids. Hope you turned out to be okay. Went into Jeff City and plucked a couple of those kids, I guess, to Columbia. So I think the other thing that really made that first team, and really for years to come, so exciting, it was so many local and area kids. I know you're not kids anymore, but you'll always be my kids. Just made it so special that their families and their friends and all of those people could enjoy their careers and enjoy their success. The first game, I'll be real honest, I don't remember as much about that as I do our first home game against Missouri Southern. I remember that game really, really well. But our first game was at Pitt. I think Sarah scored our first basket. We did lose, but then we got to go eat Chicken Mary's. So we always ate well. We always ate really well. So, that first year we ordered uniforms, we ordered basketballs, we ordered shoes, we did a schedule. Trish came on board. She finished the school year out teaching, but she came on board fairly quickly. We hired Katrina as a grad assistant. My office was up in the corner of Weiser, where I think they moved Dan maybe out of the attic up there, and I got that little hole in the wall up at the top of Weiser. And Paige, I was going to ask you when you sent me this brand new, which is beautiful, the brand new cue. And I know it's not brand new anymore, but still beautiful. I'm not sure there's still ever going to be a place quite as awesome to play as the Weiser Dome was. I mean, when that place got packed full and that band rocking, it was a little bit of a home court advantage, if I must say so. So it was just, that first year was a lot of planning, a lot of organizing, a lot of getting out, watching lots of games. But as I look back, I would do it all over again.
Want to bring in Rob Evans now. And Rob, I would kind of talk with Coach Millicent a little bit about what your first thoughts were about this program being special, about Coach being special, and maybe some of those first memories you have of those first few games when you knew that this would not only be successful, but a lot of fun.
It's ironic about all of that is the fact that not only was she recruiting players, but every time the guys played a home game the year that she was busy putting the team together, she stopped by the radio broadcast position high atop the dome and made sure that we talked. And every time she got ready to leave, she goes, "Now you're going to do our games next year, right?" "Yeah, Coach, it'll be fine. We'll take care of it." And the more I thought about it, I'd never watched women's college basketball in person, and kind of like Coach, never seen a women's Division II game. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, hey, this could be a little bit of fun, because I knew what her track record was. And I knew that she liked to win a lot of games and would do what it took to get that done. And I knew some of the players she was recruiting. So it was a lot of fun. I didn't get to see the first couple of games because we had conflicts, but I think I picked up with game 3 and kind of took off from there. I do know one thing. I really, really, out of all the teams I've ever followed and been with, that first year was a really special group of young ladies, and I really enjoyed that.
Coach, you won 20 games that year.
How we did it, I don't know. Stace, how did we do it? How did we do it, Stace? I'm sure it's because of your defense. I said earlier I wasn't sure whether how successful we could be, how quick. I thought we could eventually, but to go 20-6 in year one, I think just goes. And I said this a number of times, and I'll go to my grave saying it. It was just the quality of people that we brought in. I mean, they came in and worked every day, and I just picked on Stacy, but one of the things I remember from that first year, and if Dylan's watching, he'll probably kill you, Stacy. She had little Dylan, who was right about 2, and he was the sweetest little boy. But we'd have workouts at 6 a.m. in the morning on the track, which I know was Alya's favorite thing to go do. And she would bring Dylan, because that was part of the thing. When I recruited her, she said, "Coach, I got this little boy." I said, I got you. We're going to get through this. And I said I wasn't going to cry, but there might be a place or two. She brought Dylan, and I held that little boy, and he would say, "But I want my mama." I said, "You don't get your mama right now, because your mama's getting in shape." And he would cry, and as soon as Stacy'd get done, he'd hug, and then he'd run, and he'd hug all the rest of them. We just, from the very beginning, we were just family. We took care of each other. They bought in. They wanted to be successful. I'm very much a believer to this day that you recruit successful people off of the floor, and you recruit athletes that know how to win on the floor. You're going to win a lot of games, and this group knew how to do that. And it wasn't just this group; it carried on. And I haven't really said anything other than Drury's great academics. But we've set a standard at the Division II level and continue today, that academics are important. And we led the country a couple years in GPA. And I need to say, and I think I maybe got cut off earlier, probably when you were introducing, but to have Corey and Amy and Paige put this together tonight. This Lady Panther program, we started it, but it's here to stay. And it's here to stay because there continues to be great leadership from the top down. And we had that when we started. So I'm not sure what your first question was. I think it was, could we win 20 games in that first year? And I think we shocked a lot of people. But as we continue to win, I don't think it shocked us. I don't. I think it just became an expectation. We had a number of kids on that team that had won state chips, and they knew what it took. They knew the daily grind, and when we were out on that track and they hated it, they knew why we were doing it. And I think all of the years that I was there, starting with that very first year, teams played with us for about 16 minutes. And we'd punch them in the mouth one time really, really hard again right before the half. And it might be a 7-point game and we'd be up 15 at half. And then it was just all depth and defensive pressure. And we could score the basketball back then too. I pulled the stats up today. I think this first team shot 45% from the field, 37% from the three, 72% from the free throw line. Out rebounded teams by 5. Those are pretty good numbers. And when you can guard, you can put the ball in the hole. And we did it at a pretty good clip. So it was just a fun group that I don't know that you could ask for a better group of young women to get this program started. But 20 years still, just when you say that, just sounds like wow.
Well, certainly set the tone for the program moving forward. Probably important to note, okay, so 20-6 that first year. 2 losses were in overtime. The first home game was a 1-point loss. The first game was a 4-point loss. So even of the 6 losses, I mean, you were in all of those, and pretty much every game on your schedule was winnable. And then I think you won your last 7 or 8 in a row to close it out. And as a first-year program, weren't eligible for postseason, but it would have been fun, I think, to maybe see how far that group would have gotten in year one. So while you hadn't been to I guess maybe the first Division II game you coached in certainly was the first one in program history. But what gave you when did you kind of know this program would not only be successful but successful at a national level? Was it at some point in that first year when you thought that the sky was the limit for what you could do, not just with that group for the program?
Absolutely. In the first year, there wasn't any question, was there, ladies? We knew where we were headed. I'm just looking at the scores. Any of you remember pink lipstick lady at Texas Wesleyan? But she proceeded to kick our butt that night. But we went to. I'm just looking at our schedule. Angelo State at that point in time was one of the top Division II teams in the country, and we beat them by 5. Missouri Southern, we lost by 1. Central Missouri, one of the best Division II programs still to this day. That was one of our overtime losses. So you go right on down, you go down the line, and we were competing at a high level in year number 1. And I think the success that we had just fueled us even more. We continued to upgrade the schedule. We were able to continue to recruit and continue to get good people in, good players in. And I know this doesn't have anything to do with the first team, but I'll never forget the year that I think it was our last year we were in the Heartland. And it's a year we went to the national championship game, and some of the MIAA coaches in their egotistical ways questioned our team because we were in the Heartland, and it was not as probably as good as the MIAA top to bottom, but we were pretty much dominating in every sense of the word. And then they made the fatal mistake of questioning Amanda Newton's abilities, should I say, and said, she's good, but, I'm not sure she's played against those teams. And I think she proceeded to drop 28 and 21 on them on our way to, a national runner-up. So there was no question that we were going to be good, and we were going to continue to build this program. And I think the more we won, the harder we worked, and the more that we demanded, and the higher our expectations got, if that was possible, because I think we worked very hard from the beginning. But we had a little chip on our shoulder, and we were out to prove that we were for real. IB.
Would like to bring in some of your players on this discussion, Coach. Feel free to maybe draw some people in. If they can go ahead and unmute themselves to maybe have a discussion and some of those memories of those first couple of seasons, especially some of those first road trips. That kind of, some stories from there that kind of make those first few seasons special, because I know there's a handful.
Go ahead. I know y'all aren't bashful.
Coach, when was the walk around the outside of Denny's? Was that the first road trip down to Disney World when, I don't know, I just remember we got to get these girls going, and you had them outside walking. I think at lap number 6, I started worrying about hearing the trumpets and the sound of the Lord and the walls come trembling down. But I remember that one. That was an interesting one.
Okay, so before we get to Denny's, y'all.
Is that the trip that we had the travel snafu?
Let's just remember that we traveled in vans back then. And let's just remember some of the drivers who drove those vans. And I know y'all always wanted in with me. But I remember several times like missing an off ramp, and there'd be 3 or 4 vans together, and we'd just all stop and we'd back up on the interstate. I remember some of those. I'm not sure that.
Weren't you the one that went on up the off ramp or something?
Yes.
We didn't want in your van.
Well, when was that trip was when your dad made a turn and he was driving, and I think Keith Garnett was driving.
Oh, where is Keith? Where is Keith when we need him?
I know. And then Trish was in the van, and she was less than enthused with his driving abilities. Let's just say I remember that really well.
She wasn't going to drive. Yeah, I remember several of those trips. The driving in the vans, and I do remember I think I might have been mad that morning. I know that's hard to imagine, but I think y'all were being sluggish or something. So I told you to go outside, or I'd say you were on your phones, but that wouldn't have been the case 20 years ago. So I think I sent y'all out to walk around Denny's to wake up before breakfast.
Yeah. Coach, one of the meals that we had on that trip was kind of at a barbecue place. And it kind of set the tone for whether or not, you were wondering if I was going to like traveling with the Lady Panthers. And everybody was talking and having a good time amongst themselves. And all of a sudden I hear you holler at me from across the room. And I kind of looked up and shrugged my shoulders and said, yeah. And you go, what do you think? I said, what do you mean? And she goes, this is me. This is what you get. I said, Coach, I think we're going to be just fine.
We did eat pretty well, did we not?
Oh my goodness. That was one of the best parts of it for me.
I will have to say, and I think there's probably a little more push towards nutrition today than there was 20 years ago. And we were getting buckets and we were winning ball games eating barbecue. So what was wrong with it? But I'm not too sure that would fly with my nutritionist today. Heck, not even for a night before. Now, I don't think we ate barbecue the day of. I don't think, but I do know we snuck some desserts. I say we, I approve them. I think we snuck some desserts in pregame occasionally. But I'm all about winning and getting buckets. And if we can do that eating ice cream, then so be it. Do y'all really not have any stories?
Yeah, because I want to hear about. I think that you went to Florida that first year. Also, some Hawaii. There was a Hawaii trip or two that's got to involve this group, and maybe even a meal and some confusion on a reservation for one team or another that would be fun to talk about.
Oh, don't get us on that.
Does anybody remember the Hawaii trip in North Dakota?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good time.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, so the North Dakota, does anybody want to tell it or do you want me to tell it?
I don't remember North Dakota.
I wasn't there.
I wasn't there.
I think that was after my time.
Oh, we were in North Dakota and we were, I think, ranked third in the country at the time. And one of the North Dakotas was ranked first. And Hope, didn't you not go to Hawaii with us?
No, I went to Hawaii. I don't remember North Dakota.
So we won on literally, and who made the shot?
Oh gosh.
Hope, it might have been you. It was an inbounds play. We scored literally on the buzzer to beat them. So, and they weren't very nice. And I know we were very congenial, but they were not very nice. So we were going to, and I don't know if something happened to our reservations or whatever, but anyway, we called this restaurant, or we went into this restaurant and we walked in and they said, "Are you the basketball team?" I said, "Yeah, we're the basketball team." And they said, "Oh, you're right over here." Well, little did I know, we had not made reservations. So we took North Dakota's reservations. So they walked in about 10 minutes later and they said, "We have reservations." They said, "No, we already have a basketball team in there." So we not only beat them, we also then took their reservations at their restaurant. And then I believe we cut in line in front of them or something at the
luau.
Luau. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was even better than that because after the game, we stole their pizza. Because we were like, yeah, we ordered pizza, we took it, and it was theirs. And then we went to the restaurant, and it was all food related. And then we went to the restaurant, and stole that. And then at the luau, we were like, oh, well, this is scheduled for us. We just go to the front of the line. We pass all the teams that watch our. I think we were just like obliviously happy about what was going on. Like, obviously, this is all for us. No, it wasn't. We're not a big deal. We're actually spoiled brats.
Yeah. I think we ended up taking over their number one ranking before the year was over also. So yeah, that was in about year 3, maybe. So we talk about eating, but we ate in great locations because our schedule was unbelievable. I mean, the places that we went to Florida, we went to Hawaii, We went into San Antonio. We could tell some Riverwalk stories. Juanita Curry, I wish Jill was on here. Juanita Curry riding on the mechanical horse out in front of the little barbecue shack we ate at. And this was a year 1 or 2, any of you remember the little Mexican joint we ate in San Antonio? I mean, hole in the wall Mexican joint in San Antonio. Who was the business guy that got us those reservations? Owned the business store, the office supply store, Steve.
Steve Moore?
No, he had a son. Anyway, he's the one. He had some connections down in there. So, yeah, we got to travel, and we traveled right. So, hi, Katrina and Coach Marsh. Nobody else will tell any stories but me.
Well, I was looking, my mom made me a scrapbook whenever, after our first year at Drury. And so I was looking back at some of the pictures. I don't know if they'll show, but like that was in the airport. We were getting ready to fly to Orlando. We had Keith and Rob. Kaylor. Look how little he was.
Oh my gosh.
And then on the back, I love this one. Do you girls remember this when we went in the Tower of Terror?
Oh, that was it. That was in Orlando. That was it. Yeah, Disney
That was
World.
in Orlando. That was so much fun. So
I like the picture in the background. See was that our first year? No, that one on the wall.
Yeah,
That's the first one. Yeah.
That was our transformation.
Oh, yeah, the cat's out of the bag or something, right?
And how fun was all of our poster pictures doing those?
They were fun.
Those were a lot of fun.
I don't remember.
my internet went out. Sorry.
I don't remember games. I mean, I remember playing, but I don't remember specifics about games. I remember more about in the hotel rooms or on the bus, in the van, those types of things where, I mean, I remember one time struggling on the track and Allison Cody basically was like pulling me along because she was like Superwoman. Those are the types of things I remember that first year. Her jumping out of the gym for every rebound that, came close to her. But it was more about the locker room and hanging out with each other, those types of things than, who scored what baskets and all that stuff. It was
You don't remember me yelling at you, Hope, to play defense and quit getting beat and tipping the ball from behind?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I remember.
the coaches remember that.
I remember that.
I don't remember that. I don't think it happened. I don't think that happened, and I think all you did was give her the green light to shoot. That's what I remember.
I remember pulling a trash can or two out to the corner of the gyms. I don't know who those were for, but
We were just talking about that. My family had the stomach bug, and I was puking, you guys. And Kim's like, "Oh, I was glad I wasn't beside you, like in college when you just puke and rally." And I was like, "Oh, you gotta do it."
Not by me.
But some people have the sympathy puke, and Kim is one of them.
That's when you know she's a good friend because she would go away from me to do it.
I remember our locker room, and we basically made everything in that locker room. John Miller not the voice John Miller, the facilities guy John Miller made our lockers from they were old like closet cabinet things that came out of the dorms at Drury, and he cut off the doors and did all those, and he made our lockers for us, so we would have wood lockers, so we wouldn't have to have metal lockers. And remember our cubbies? Do you remember our cubbies that we had? Lots of fun. And I remember when we got our first big screen TV and our couches.
Ooh, good nap times.
Yeah. Oh yeah, nap time.
Yep.
You wouldn't believe how quickly you could fall asleep 5 minutes in between classes.
Sarah would set an alarm for 4 minutes and be passed out for that. I remember one thing I remember is kind of before things had really started, we were just kind of meeting and working out on our own. And us Glendale girls trying to prep the newbies on like way practice would run and conditioning and different things. And I remember Jill especially thought I was crazy when I tried to explain how the width of a court is worse than running the length of the court. And then the first time you're like on the sideline, and us Glendale girls were vomiting in our mouth a little bit. And
Are you saying you didn't
Oh,
like
verticals were horrible.
You didn't like verticals?
no. They still give me nightmares.
Am I the only one that still has dreams every now and again that like you're late to something and you have to have a minute run for every minute? Because that's like a reoccurring nightmare. And then I show up late to this.
I
And
think
I
I
might
only
have minute runs.
ever made my minute runs one time my entire career. It was awful.
Katie, we were Breakfast Club buddies.
Always.
Some of my favorite
It was
memories.
all worth it though.
It was. No, some of my favorite memories are the fans that came from day one. You know, we would travel all over the country and we would have, like, Sarah's grandparents were at every game. My grandparents came to every game. Papa and Nana. You know, we had Dan and Helen Beeman, John and Janine Campbell, May Stewart. I mean, just to name a few. And we'd walk into a gym and they'd be like, oh, there's 500 people at this game. And like 450 of them were our fans. So, you know, from day one, we just had a huge following. And it's neat to watch some of the games, you know, last year, not this year, obviously, because you can't have fans. But, you know, just to see that support has continued. So,
yeah. And I know that some people are watching on Zoom and Sharon might be on Zoom, but anybody remember when Sharon got sick on the bus on Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Oh, bless her heart. She was.
She got on your bus. She got on the wrong bus.
We had some good people. We had some good people.
My favorite bus memory was when Callie Newton would always bring friends. So every bus ride for I don't know how many trips, we would always just constantly watch all the Friends episodes.
Callie, what year was it that I think we made 2 emergency room stops in the same trip? Because we had one for Mitch and one for you. Did we not? Wasn't that in the same?
I don't know, Coach. I feel like I was in the emergency room more than on the floor. So, no, I don't know.
Coach Marsh, wasn't that on the same trip? Hello?
That was after me.
You're muted.
I think she's on mute.
You're on mute, Coach Marsh.
Unmute.
Here we go. There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Well, I just remember we were like in Memphis and you guys dropped us off at the emergency room. We took Mitch in to get his stitches. It took forever. I think you guys went to Golden Corral or something and continued to watch Friends on the bus, waiting for us. I remember that. That's one of a couple emergency room trips, but.
Anybody remember our trips to Panhandle State?
oh, yeah.
We got
I
stuck. didn't we?
the bus.
We got
You keep
Yeah.
on saying the bus, and I just get this like smell and like heat about me, and it kind of grosses me out.
The motel.
Especially that triangle of like going into the depths of Texas, back up to the Oklahoma Panhandle and back was like
Never
it was a
ending.
long bus ride.
I've
So
told
if you've
stories of
never
those trips.
if you've never been to Panhandle State, Oklahoma, it is as close to hell as you can probably get. And it is teeny tiny. And so the first year we went, there's this, you had to turn to go into the gym, and it was a really deep like a ditch type thing. And I think my dad might have even got out and said, I don't think we want to try to turn that. Well, of course the bus driver did. And we turned and we get high centered. So I know, Callie, I'm going there. So we had to sit in the gym for like 3 hours to have a tow truck come get us out. And then lo and behold, we try to tell a stupid bus driver again, don't pull in this. We've already been high centered. And guess what they do? So we got high centered in Panhandle, Oklahoma twice. We also had the snow one year going, that was a blizzard of all blizzards. And there's nothing to stop the snow in Oklahoma.
Hey, Nyla, what about the elevator in West Texas? You remember that?
Was that where they walked the rest of the week?
I believe so.
Yeah, because what don't I like? Any of you remember?
Lots of things.
I don't like crowded elevators.
I was going to say, Coach, there's a lot of things on that list. I mean, you're going to have to narrow that stuff down. Come on now.
What
Give
am I
us a
supposed to
chance.
say?
To this
Give us
day,
a
they
hint.
know, don't crowd the elevator. Well, they chose to crowd the elevator and then started hopping. So their little butts used the stairs maybe the rest of the year.
It wasn't the year. It
Oh,
wasn't.
okay.
Come on.
So Kellyanne, what else didn't I like?
You only eat
I'm
the
not-
crust on
Hey,
pie.
I'm not in for getting in trouble tonight. I'm going to sit back and listen.
You're
I'm
adult.
enjoying myself. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
Hey, what about the middle of the night disciplinary stuff?
Oh.
When someone got hurt?
I was
Remember that?
not going to bring that up.
Oh, okay. Leave it
That didn't
alone.
happen either. Don't remember that.
We found y'all though, didn't we?
Mhm.
Really hard to hide.
There's some different places to find them, though.
Oh,
I don't know where.
Hey, let's
Kim,
go
come
ahead
on.
and change the subject of that. to,
that's a night I can't forget.
I remember going to the emergency room for kidney stones in
Yes.
Texas, and we went to, I'm pretty sure it's the United States' worst hospital ever.
was it in the Panhandle?
No, we were in Texas, but it was, I think we had 2 options, and somehow I ended up with the worst option.
Yeah, and then you were all loopy in your parents' RV.
Yeah, thank goodness we had all those campers Carrie was talking about.
Thank goodness we didn't do camera phones at that point because we would have been videoing you.
We could probably tell some real stories about Tom and Mike and Coach Stratton and
He said he's watching, so feel free to throw him
I
under the
know,
bus.
and
He can't talk about it.
Stacy, and I got a couple of good Tim stories. Oh, Tim, he was going to come kick your tail a couple of times.
I know. He's got lots of big talk, doesn't he?
I tell you, that was another fun thing. We had some fun parents and they traveled and oh my gosh, I'm not sure what they went and did at halftime, but I don't care. I don't care.
Yes, you did. No, let's talk about our facilities again. I know we have a beautiful facility in the O'Reilly Family Event Center. Those first years as we were sold out as an infant program in the Weiser old airplane hangar, that was an amazing feeling to run out to, I mean, it was just roaring and the thing echoed like all around you and you've got this Panther roar and people of all ages screaming for you. I think that's part of why we were so oblivious whenever we'd go about, stealing pizzas and whatnot, because we were just like, what is this?
That's how it is.
It's the
How it is.
atmosphere.
But playing in that facility, it might have had concrete floors, and Hope has the shins to show you on that, but it was an amazing feeling to run out to that type of a atmosphere. And I think it's a great selling point for whenever we were bringing in new recruits moving forward.
Oh, they flat fire marshaled us a couple of nights. I mean, it was, and the fans were just right down on you. which was good for us, not so good on the other team when you're throwing the ball out of bounds and they literally could reach out and hug you. In fact, there wasn't even enough room to throw the ball in, hardly. But it was, yeah, amazing. The band and the students, and I know that that's still a big part of what makes the O'Reilly Center so special today is all of that.
I remember Rob's voice, and now you're a Drury Lady Panthers, and then have the, Panther going. That was always fun.
Yeah.
We didn't have any big videos back then.
Mm-mm.
Those cool videos that they play on the screen now.
We didn't need any of that cool stuff.
Yep, we just through the pom-poms.
We kept it simple.
For the cool ones. I think it took me a long time after the fact, after playing, I just kind of living a little bit before really reflecting back on how good the program was and how the right people were hired for the job between, Nyla and Trish and Katrina. I mean, we had the right people and they went after the right players, and we were surrounded by administrators that I know of. I guess I didn't really know that part, but it just seemed like it was a good family atmosphere. I mean, even the fans got on board, but it really started from Trish and Nyla and Katrina to get us going and getting the right people, the right mixture of people with experience, and then freshman class. And we just meshed together really well. So, thanks to the coaches for that. Thanks for
Hope, do you remember your visit to campus and some of you coming to campus and we had nothing really to sell? And it was, we didn't have uniforms. We didn't have anything yet.
So, it was the vision of being the first, and it was the knowing how successful you guys were in that, and in high school, and you sold it well.
We were selling ice to Eskimos.
Yeah.
Do you remember the little locker, Trish, that we made out of it was a little storage box, and do you remember this, Katrina? The little lockers, and we I think maybe made a little fake t-shirt so we could hang it like it was displaying like they do fancy. Well, we didn't have anything to hang. And you're making you took the Where's Waldo book and made a Where's the Panther book. We were digging for things because we were selling the dream. We were selling the vision.
That's funny.
I have a request from a viewer. His name is Mark Stratton. He says he would like us to discuss the time when the lights went out in West Texas while we were kicking their tails.
West Texas. Yes. Probably one of the top 3 or 4 programs in the country. The Division II level. Now they had just moved into a new arena, so we were not playing in their little box. But yeah, we were flat kicking their tail, and all of a sudden the lights go out. And I think, didn't we end up losing?
No.
Did we end up winning?
Sure said no.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, and I was so mad. All they were doing was stalling to give their kids rest, I think. I think
and there were those lights that took forever to reheat and come back on.
I think they did it on purpose. Everybody pretty much thought that it took a couple of years before I think people really thought we were for real. Outside, I think, and everybody, I think, and that was back when when we had to send each other videotapes, and you hope they came in the mail without being crushed. And we got several crushed ones because I don't think people wanted to help us out scouting very well. It's not easy to go like it is on the computer nowadays. But I think they would watch us on tape and they'd go, yeah, we can handle that, or oh yeah. And probably a little bit like they still think today, because the defensive pressure is just something that until you've experienced it. You can watch on tape and you think, oh yeah, we can put our kids here and we can put them there, and oh, we got a good enough. But until you've experienced that stuff, and I'm just going to use Molly as an example right now. She's taken that to Grand Canyon, and she's leading the country in turnovers forced at the Division I level. I think there was a lot of people that, and I think West Texas was one of them, that thought, we can play with that group. And then little did they know, here comes these little kids from Southwest Missouri and proceeded to kick your tail. Oh yeah, West Texas.
One thing, I always felt like we were the most prepared team. You all did your homework as coaches and scouting reports, and we walked through it at practice, and they'd call out a number for an inbounds play, and we knew exactly where they were going to go. So we might not have always been the most talented team on the court, but we always had, a little, I guess, advantage because our coaches were always prepared. So
I don't know what you're thinking, Carrie, but I would say we were always the most talented team on the court.
We're always, but there were some teams that were better than us. We
Hold on, baby crying.
What's that?
It says the first recruit and the first scorer.
Right.
And the most swag. I don't think we lacked in confidence very often.
No.
And if we did, all we had to do was ask Sarah, and she would reassure us that we were going to be okay. So yeah, and I look back to it that Trish and Kate, that I still have my notebooks that have all the pattern reports and all of the sheets and stuff that I wrote you all notes to. And we did all that handwritten. There wasn't any computer programs back then either that helped you with that scouting.
Nope.
That's aging us a little.
Oh.
A little. My daughter turns 14 next month. I find that crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. Speaking of aging, Kim, I mean, she's going to be a lady Falcon.
No.
And
freshman orientation
to play for me next year. Yeah.
And look who just the cat drug in.
Yay, Keith!
Neutron did that. Neutron did it. It wasn't me.
Hi, Keith.
Oh my goodness.
Hi, guys.
And what time is it in China?
8:53 in the morning.
Why are you?
You have to stretch.
Man, I tell you what, this is fabulous. I'm watching. Hi, guys. It's good to see you guys.
Morning.
8:50 in the morning.
That's late.
Oh, geez. It's recording.
Why are you in China?
See? Well. Oh, man.
I think he's got feedback. He's over there. I'm pretty sure training with a team, correct? Are you one of the trainers over? Yeah, in China.
Nice.
What team is he with now?
How did you do that? I don't even know how to do this stuff. How did he send a chat?
Go to the little chat button and hit chat and then type. I want you all to know, Callie and Stacy have already heard this. This is your technology old coach right here. Look at my background. Are you proud of me?
I was just thinking, oh man, they sure hooked her up.
Super impressed.
That's a good way. Mine says Tristan because I'm on my daughter's computer. I don't have one. So. I'm at
While
the
we get
bottom.
a few people situated, I kind of want to hear from some of you all as players too. when did you guys feel like, because a college basketball team, you're coming from all over quite a bit, and granted, I mean, this first team, a lot of you were from the area, so you would have known each other a little bit. But as teammates for the first time, when did you guys start to feel like a family? Because that's definitely something that's carried over through this program for 20 years. When did you guys feel it and that bond in either year one or when you first got to Drury?
I think it happened right away. Like Coach Millison said, several of us played at Glendale together. So we'd had several years of experience playing together. But then a lot of us had either played against each other in AAU ball or just in high school. And so we knew each other, when we came in that first year. So really it was pretty immediate. When you spend that much time with someone, a lot of them live together in the dorms. And then when we practice a couple times a day or doing training, you're together all the time. So that's your other family.
Yeah, I would say, I think we all opened up pretty quickly and pretty easily. I think when you're going through something intense like that, there isn't really a lot of time to be guarded. So you kind of just come out as you are. I remember during the recruiting process, because I wasn't actually really being recruited, but I snuck in there and remember Jill's like little model picture that she had been, well, it's probably like her senior picture, but that's what the coaches had. I was like, oh, she's so pretty. She's probably a really big snot. And Jill's like one of the best people you could ever meet. Like she's the kindest, sweetest person ever. And I was like, oh, I think it was probably Sarah. I'll throw you under the bus, Sarah. I was like, oh, she's a snot. We'll get her whipped into shape, And then she ends up being someone with the biggest heart ever. So I think it was pretty quick once you kind of got it all going.
I think Kim hit something on the head that, and even through the recruiting process, a couple of times I got told, well, if you're recruiting her from X school, then I'm not, then she won't come from Y school because they don't like each other and blah, 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 blah. And you know what your perception of somebody is sometimes competing against them and how they really are two different things. And so I think there was a perception or two amongst some people that, oh, I'm not going to like her because she played at Nix, or I'm not going to like her because she played at Glendale or whatever. We had to play against them, but that was broken down so fast. And I think Kim hit it on the head. Everybody was just so real and so genuine, so fast, that this is who we are and this is how we're going to do things. And I know y'all didn't agree with everything we always did sometimes, but I think you always knew that we had your best interest at heart, and the decisions that we were making were being made for the best of you and for our program and our team. And, through those hard times, we were always there for you, but there was no question that you all as a team were there for each other. And I do think that happened really, really, really quickly. So, yeah.
I would agree with that.
It was nice having it.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, some of my closest, I didn't really have a lot of girlfriends till later in life. And pretty much my close girlfriends now is like, Sarah was talking about how we were talking about the vomiting situation earlier via text, but the few girls I do want to stay in touch with are, other than most of you guys know my good friend Nikki Stock too, but are all college teammates. So that's been one blessing that's come out of it.
It was nice also going to a school where the coaches really fostered those relationships. I know in some colleges you would go and the coaches would try to, oh, you're going to have to beat her out for a position. And, it was kind of like a competition, and, it was just a big family. That's how it felt when we came in. So
I think that extended out into the classroom as well. So we had a lot of goals that we wanted to meet on the court. We needed to mesh well, and we knew that. But there's also this other life that you're going to get to, after your 4 or 5 years, if you got a medical red shirt like Hope. But after it's done, there's the real world. So I think that they did a good job prepping you for that. Some coaches don't really care about their graduation rates. They're worried about wins. They're worried about their scorecard, but that's not helpful to the community or the players. So I think that that's something that we really took into heart and knew that it was important to be successful on the court and in the classroom. And the professors and all the different departments, they were on board with that as well.
We had amazing faculty. So many would come watch us play. President Moore, gosh, there wasn't any bigger fan than what he was. And I know I've mentioned Dr. Harger, and then Dr. Matthews came on, and Barb, gosh, just nose to the grindstone behind the scenes, what she did for us. So it was, it was kind of one of those perfect good storms that spun together, and you put the right people in place, and good things happen. And Amy, I'm just really, really proud to continue to watch you. And I'm going through it too. The pandemic has been probably my toughest year in coaching, and doesn't really have anything to do with wins and losses, although losses, it sucks. But there's just so many. You talk about taking care of kids, and it's been a really, 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 really tough year, just in terms of the mental aspect that college athletics is going through right now, being tested 4 and 5 times a week. And that's a whole different story. But just really proud to be able to watch what you're doing, and the success, and to be able to have a small part of that, and to still be considered a part of it. Because I can also tell you there's places that you're done and you're done. They don't really care about you. And I know that jury's always gonna I'm always gonna bleed that Lady Panther red, and to continue to be a part of this, and be included, and to watch the success is really, really special to me. And I think I can speak for all of you. Some of the rest of you have a little more front seat view than I have, but trust me, I follow it on social media and look up and see when you play. And I've got on and listened to radio broadcasts and done those sort of things. So, the sustainability of a program is not easy. I mean, it's not, and 20 years, there's not been a drop-off year. And to have that is pretty remarkable. And there's not a question that this first group set that stage for that sustainability. And then it's just been continuing to put the right leadership in place. So I just am really, really proud to be a part and continue to follow your success, Amy.
It'll be a good time to bring Coach Egan in, and to hear from our current coach is, again, jury 13-1, ranked number 4 in the country as we speak tonight. And Coach, what have you heard that's kind of been familiar to you with your current student athletes? Just the way that this first team has talked, visited about their experiences, and just kind of who they are. Are you finding some characteristics that are similar to your current group?
Absolutely. I mean, I could sit here and listen to these stories forever. And so I think so many of them are so familiar. You mentioned like Dan and Helen Beeman even, I see them every week still. And just little things, the atmosphere. Obviously this year's different, but being a part of it last year and years before that, coaching on the other side of it. All the support, the people on campus, the professors, obviously our administration. I mean, it is just like you guys said, the people that make it. Now, I would probably say this probably shouldn't leave this group. The only difference is kids these days are maybe not as tough as you guys probably were. I don't know if I could do that trash can thing anymore and it'd be okay, but
Times have definitely changed. There's a few things that I don't do anymore. And it's been a day or two since I've drug a trash can.
Definitely, but I still hear campus and I still talk about you all the time. It's crazy, when they talk about the tradition and the history of the program and everything you did for it from the beginning and getting it started. And I mean, some of the girls, like, not all of them because I haven't been around as long, but like Hope and I see their names on in the rafters and on the Hall of Fame board and those kind of things. And I think it's program.
Well, to kind of put things in perspective a little bit, as we've been going for a little more than an hour, this program now in 20 years has played 644 games in its history. They've won 534 of those. So that's 534 and 110 for an all-time record in years. And again, a winning percentage of 830. That is the best in Division II women's basketball. And it started with a lot of you guys. So you started something special and it continues to be something special. And we definitely appreciate all of you devoting your time and energies to not just to supporting the program, being a part of it, but having some fun with us today. So I want to definitely thank each and every one of you. Thanks especially to Coach Millicent for taking time out of her coaching schedule, still hard at work, and trying to do this during, I know when she's preparing and getting her own teams to get back on the court soon. A lot of this wouldn't be possible without her. So definitely wanted to say thank you sincerely for helping get everybody rallied together and getting this off the ground. Also wanted to bring back in Paige Grisham. It was really her work that laid the groundwork for tonight to happen and get that off the ground. And as much fun as this is today, I know that we want to do this better and we're doing this in person. So Paige is to kind of say some thank yous. Also want to bring you back in to talk about some opportunities that we hope to have as we get through this particular year and back to having games in person, because I know that we've got a group that you'll be proud of.
Absolutely. And first of all, I just want to say that it's such a privilege to have been a part of this and to help facilitate this, because this has been so much fun. I know hopefully fun for you guys as well. So, and I hope that a lot of our fans that are watching have enjoyed reminiscing and hearing some of these really great stories. But we do want to continue to do this, and we want to continue this tradition, and hopefully back in person sooner rather than later, because we want to see you guys back at the O as soon as we possibly can. We also, we want to extend this out to our other athletics programs as well. So I hope that we can continue to work with our alumni and do fun events like this. But last but not least, I really want to thank Nyla for taking the time out of her busy schedule. I know Ed said it, but this would not be possible without you in so many ways. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us tonight.
You are welcome. I just love y'all. And I'm going to say this, there's many a day that I wish I was still right there. It's a great place, and I've had a great career, but I'm not sure that there's any days that are better than this. Guess it ended up being 8 with my year of vacation. The 8 years that I spent at Drury, it doesn't get any better than what those years were. So, Paige, thank you. Corey and Ed, thanks to you, and Amy. Again, I just wish you all nothing but the best, and most importantly, right now, stay healthy. This pandemic is political views aside. This pandemic is real. and the toll that it's taken on many people is not easy. So I know and appreciate the leadership that you're going through with your team. So I'm all here for you. I love y'all, and I thank you for being part of my life. And I almost made it through, and I don't think I'm going to cry.
All right. Ed, one last thing to mention is that the Lady Panthers are playing this Saturday for the official homecoming game. It doesn't exactly look like normal, but you can watch it live on the GLVCSN and listen on radio. So they'll tip off at 1 o'clock against Lewis. So be sure to tune in for that and cheer for our current Lady Panthers. And any other announcements from you, Ed?
Nope. Again, we've got, for Senior Day, I mean, you can be able to watch that. There'll be links on the website and the schedule page. Just click on there. We've got a special group of seniors that we'll be honoring before the game. This is a group that's really only lost 3 or 4 times in 4 years, 32-0 last year, 35-1 the year before, 13-1 right now. We feel like we've got a long ways to go still. A lot of season we hope to have left. There's a lot of hope in that, not just the fact that you keep winning, but there's so much, as we said, in a COVID season, it doesn't matter if you keep winning or not. There's just other things at chance as we go through it. So fingers crossed that we can kind of finish what we started here at the beginning of the year, even though it's been a little bit abbreviated. And I guess the other thing, I mean, jury, there's kind of a saying, for the last probably 40, 50 years about a jury family. This is certainly a tight-knit one with the Drury Lady Panther basketball family. I could definitely hear a lot of that with you all. And just keep in mind, you'll always be family with Drury University, Drury Athletics, and Lady Panthers basketball. So once again, thanks, Coach Millicent. Thanks, Coach Egan, Rob Evans. Great to see Keith Garnett log on as well. But again, always family, always welcome. Thanks once again for helping us be a part of this.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Bye.